Hi, everybody. How's it going this evening? It's
Hi.
it's Ron from Ron's Computer Videos and my good friend Adam.
Hello.
We're just here. We're just seeing what's happening. Which may not be much. It's I just everybody's so tired. I'm so tired. But I want to get this Goofy 6360 closer to being done before I start on the next phase of everything. So earlier this week I was working on trying to get um, oh gosh, just to get like an operating system on the dang thing. And then I was able to copy over my utilities drive, and I was able to copy over my games drive. And then now tonight, I'm going to copy all my MIDI stuff over to it. So that'll be fun. So, Adam, what are you up to?
I'm trying to reduce the number of files on this drive, and I also
Yeah,
need to put this little VGA adapter into my Dell Optiplex, which I think I'll take care of.
fair enough. That'll be fun. Hey,
Yeah,
hey, Jeremy, how's it going? Good to see you. So I just don't know what I just don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. There's been so many late night streams recently. I don't even know what's the difference between right and wrong right now. It's just it's all running together. Um, but I don't know. I think that something I want to talk about also is maybe get some people's opinions on things. But um, I'm really playing around. I've got that 6360. It has a PCI slot. I have a Voodoo One, which would be really great. You can drop that in there. So for some 3D accelerated gaming, but it does seem like there is a lot of um, like you got to really have a very specific sort of set of circumstances to get that all to work on these older machines. Um, because as it sits, we can go down this list, and there are not like a ton of uh, games that actually support um, 3DFX on like a G or on a 603. Or wait, is it? Wait, sorry, I've forgotten. Macintosh 6360 uh, Apple specs. Actually, that's like that's something everybody should know. Yeah, it's a 603E, 160 megahertz. So yeah, so something on a 603, not always going to be at the top of the support list on all that stuff. So it's kind of sad. Plus, a lot of it requires OS X, which is or OS 10, depending on who you talk to. Um, so you just kind of figure things out. So, all right, Adam, are you going to work on something on the stream, or were you coming to hang out and just talk and chat and see what's
I'm
going
here
on?
to chat, see what you're doing,
Yeah,
and I will be putting that little doohickey in that Dell in a minute. I think I figured out my size problem here. I found a little Western Digital drive I can copy this junk over to.
that's cool.
So I'm gonna work on that for a sec.
Very cool. I'm just going down the list of these games as well, and maybe I should start that stinking file copy because it's going to take 400 trillion years. So let me go over to the bench, get this machine booted up, and see if I can look at all that static interference. Look at all that. That's crazy.
What
What the
is
hell's
that?
going? I know it's like aliens are trying to take over or something. Let me see. Let me see what's happening with the camera hub. Uh, let's see. Elgato Facecam 2. Let's turn on anti-noise, noise reduction. Hey, what do you look at that? Look at that. Just cleared it right up.
Neat.
Yeah, I have that turned off on my regular camera because I think it makes faces and stuff look really soft. My face is soft enough already without the assistance of the Elgato Facecam. So, all right, let's save that. And actually, I will tell you, I love these little Elgato cameras because you can dial everything in, you click save, and it just saves it to the camera. So if you unplug it, you move it to a different computer, you you fall into a black hole, It'll just keep your settings, and then everything's great. So. Oh yeah, that's blowing it up now. Woo! All right, I'm gonna turn that off. All right, let me get my drive connected here. Yeah, it's so weird, man. It's like it works really well with like one of these cheese ball adapters, but doesn't seem to really want to work, at least with the this type of IDE adapter. I can't wait for my other stuff to arrive in the mail, and then we'll see. I wonder how many IDE devices you can hook up inside these machines. Is it 2? That'd be interesting. I get a splitter.
We had this conversation a while back about those models, and I think some of them will only do one. I don't remember if the 6360 was one. It was weird, like the way that Apple did it.
Yeah.
It didn't support a master and a slave on an IDE bus.
Right.
On some of those, and I don't know if that was one.
Who knows? It'd be kind of cool to know. This is so slow on the boot. You think this would be like way quicker, but I mean, just looking at the benchmarks and stuff, because I know Exodium did a bunch of benchmarks on trying to figure out like the best way to boot these machines up, and I think he settled on some SCSI stuff, but I don't know. It's like it kicks the crap out of. Of course, it won't see my stuff. That would be too easy. And then I have to remember for the life of me where I have stuck. Oh my god, this happens to me every damn time where I cannot remember where I put. What the hell is it? And then that's the other thing that I can't remember the name of the program either. But it's like the SCSI. It's like that SCSI tool thing for these guys. It's oh lordy lord. It'd be really great to be able to remember. But yeah, there's like a SCSI utility for like mounting your SCSI stuff. I need and that's SCSI probe. Whew, thank God. All right, let's put that like at the root of my boot drive so I can stop trying to remember. Yeah, but that's kind of a cool little control panel, and that will absolutely. Oh, Jeebus. I hate this. I don't want to register nothing. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, see it sees all those things. So let's get them mounted. They're 4 gig. They're 4 gig images. I think they've got an issue though. Yeah, sure appears that they are not going to mount.
That sucks.
I think this happened recently. So what I did is I actually split it all out and made a bunch of 2 gig versions of the same disk images, and then it was cool with that. I think the problem is I made this all with an emulator, like made the disk images, copied everything over, organized it all, and then I think kind of quickly realized that it was like, oh yeah, that's a mistake. Should not have done that. So I guess I will switch back over here to my real machine and do it differently.
Hey Ron, I got to reboot real quick. I'll be right back.
Good man. All right, let me get my camera switched back over to the lobby. Jeremy, that's a good suggestion. I do like the Wolf 3D. I think the only thing is that that card does not. I don't think it takes advantage of any kind of 3D acceleration. I think if you just have a fast Mac, it works. Remember back in the day, you did need a pretty beefy Macintosh compared to like the fact that would run on a 486 DX266. I just don't know. Hey, 50 Shades of Beige. Good day, Earthlings. So I guess I need to get those files copied back out to this. And then as soon as I do that, I can actually start my project, which is kind of how things go from time to time. So let's see. Yeah, and there's just like a ton a ton of these images to make this work. So this is going to take a minute. I had purchased a like a USB 3 SD card reader, and then I have like no idea what I did with it. It's around here somewhere. It would be nice to have it because then this file copy that says it's going to take 15 minutes would take more like just a couple minutes. So yeah, I could see running Wolf 3D on a 386. I was probably thinking about Doom. Like Doom, you really wanted like kind of a beefier 486 with like some decent, like a decent 2D card in it to be able to actually, you know, play at a decent frame rate. I like that. Like, hey, welcome back, Adam. Phil's Computer Lab has like that benchmarking thing for DOS systems so that you can kind of figure out exactly what's what. See how many, I forget what the benchmark term is for Doom. It's like game ticks or something like that. You got to divide it out and figure out exactly what your frames per second is, but it's pretty crazy.
My headphones weren't working. Now there, I'm back.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Biggie John, is this the 12 streams of Christmas? No, I think that it's just me trying to finish up this project and just dragging people along for the ride. So, again, Adam was kind enough to kind of hop in the stream, keep me company while this is going on. So he's got a project that he's going to do too. We'll see.
I'm gonna try.
We'll see how it goes.
See if this works. I decided to download a file that's 160 gigs, and I don't have that much room on my SSD.
Yeah, that's a pain.
I'm trying to move it while it's partially done, and to have it complete, and it doesn't want to cooperate with me. I actually crashed the whole Finder a minute ago. That's why I had to reboot.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I had I could have swore, I can't remember if this is like before I went Windows 11 or what, but my friend is like, "Hey, I got these files, go download them." And I sure don't have FileZilla on my machine anymore to like FTP into his machine. So I guess I have to reach out and say, "Hey, what's your info again?" I have to figure that out. Let's see. Go to Nanite. I don't know what people call it. It's very handy. If you've never seen it, it's basically ninite.com. They're like automated installers for like a ton of like kind of open source Mac or PC software. So you can just kind of go out there and say, okay, I want VLC, I need iTunes, I want the GIMP on my machine, I need .NET 4.8, and you can it'll build an installer, and then you just click one thing and it puts it all on your machine, which is pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
That's what I'm going to right now because I could have swore that they had all the stuff for the FTP stuff that I was just talking about. They may not.
I've been trying to find TRS-80 software, and it seems like everybody's really stingy with it. Like you have to be some secret cult, like member of a club or something.
Really?
I don't know. It's weird.
You think that stuff would be everywhere? I think it might be a thing where people don't want to write discs for other folks anymore. They're like, ugh.
Yeah, I just want images, though. I don't need them to write anything for me. I want to. I mean, I'm going to take care of all the how to write a floppy disk part. I just need somebody to give me the data.
Right. I wonder if are we there yet? We're getting close. We're getting so close. Biggie John says, "Hey, did you check with Adrian Black? just give Adrian a call, man, and just say, hey, can you give me all your stuff? Thanks."
I interact with him sometimes online, but I don't think in that way. So
Would a faster main PC than what you currently have be of any benefit to you? I got your thing. I'm sorry that I didn't respond in a more prompt manner. I've been working the last couple of days, and then I just get. This is the time of year where people are just full of cheese and don't know what day of the week it is. So so I apologize, Jeremy, for not responding more promptly, but I think I've got this all set up. I think it's going to be okay. There are some faster CPUs that I can uh, slap in here, but for whatever reason, it's really sad that i7 that I bought and that it's dead. It'd have been nice if that would have worked, but what I have right now is okay. It does everything I want it to do for the most part. I probably need to get a better video card first. I got a NVIDIA 1050 Ti or something like that. So it's it's showing its age. Yes, it's Betwixtmas is the current season that we are stuck in.
Yeah, I had to ask my boss today, is it tomorrow that we have off or Monday? And he was like, "You're an idiot, Monday."
Yeah, and that's nice about where I work is if the holiday falls on a weekend, they give you an extra day during the week. So there's been many years where we have just had to be back on the first, and that sucked. That was really awful.
Well, for Christmas they gave us Friday and Monday,
Oh,
and
that's
then
nice.
they gave us, that was actually like a bonus, and then they just gave us one day for New Year's.
hmm
What's funny is I'm opening this up to put this VGA option in,
Yeah,
and on top of the fan, it actually has a little diagram how to take the fan out and also how to put in a little VGA accessory.
that's cool.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah, that is nice.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
I
fun.
don't think I'd buy an RTX 2070. I mean the games I play are all like 10 years old. So, and on top of that, my monitor is like 60 hertz, so it doesn't matter. It's like if it could have like 300 million frames a second, but I can see 60 of them. So
Ooh,
actually,
fuzzy.
the whole reason I built this new machine, more than being quote faster or anything, was that I wanted to have a machine that supported Windows 11 and was smaller and quieter than my old machine, and I checked all the boxes for that, so that worked out well. So that worked out. It worked out okay for that. But my previous machine was an i7 3770. Let me look that up. Let me make sure that I'm not like telling tales out of school here. Um, yeah, I was yeah, and that's from like 2012. So that's like it was already 10 years old. So, yeah. So I was just like, nah, we're done with that. Socket 1155 and all that stuff. It's just, So if you look out at the comparison charts, let me see. Comparison. Let's see. Does my current case have a 5 1/4 bay? No, it does not. My new machine has no external accessible bays. That was the other thing I wanted. I didn't need. I can't tell you the last time I used a CD or anything like that. So forget it. Just don't need it.
Don't need it.
Don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it at all. Wouldn't be prudent. Speaking of old terrible jokes. So hold on. I went around CPU-Z. I gotta even remember what CPU I've got in this new machine. So Exodium is gonna come and hang out. So that's cool.
Nice.
So let's see. All right. So the new chip I've got is an i5 8400. That's the the current chipperoonie that is in my machine. So let's take a look. Actually, I could probably share my screen so that we can talk about this together in a easier to sort of understand way. Here we go. Make sure I don't have any norpography up. Looks good. All right. So my old chip was this i7 3770, and this is basically like there's only one chip better than this. In terms of like socket 1155 chips. So let's go ahead and we're going to add. Okay, that's added to the compare. So let's go ahead and let's look up. Oh, lordy lord. How do I even do it? There's the search. Okay. i5 E400. Oh, gosh, that's not really what I want to do. So let's see. How did I end up here? Oh my gosh. I got one in the. Okay, so there's our compare. Maybe I click compare. Hey, there it is. Sorry, I'm using the site incorrectly. Jeremy says, I currently have a i9, lots of numbers after that. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. I know that that's probably damn fast. But part of my mistake is that I got a good deal on that processor, and so I bought a board for the processor, not knowing. And I had quote tested the processor. I put it in a board, it posts, and you can sit in BIOS. It'll just sit in BIOS for weeks. You could literally leave it in there for weeks. It'll never crash. It'll sit there and everything's great. But the second you try to load like Windows or something, even like Windows 10 or whatever, it just instantly crashed. Blue screen. That's it. So very sad. Very sad. i5 8400.
Pretty sure this part I got is not even the right part.
What happened?
Well,
That's no good.
took the fan off, and there's a VGA connector on the motherboard underneath.
Uh-huh.
It looks like it's maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 pins. But this connector that's on this this little VGA dongle thingy,
Yeah.
it's like 3 times as wide.
Oh, wow.
And also the cord is too short to reach from where the VGA should mount.
Right.
So I'm thinking this is not for this model, maybe. Probably. Oops.
That's no good.
It's annoying.
Absolutely.
There's a serial port header in here, though.
That's handy if you want to hook up something.
I've already got a USB to serial adapter, though, so I don't really need that. Oh well. I'll have to go on that auction and see what I can do about this.
Yeah. Hope you can get the right part. The that chip though, I mean everything on paper it looks better. So it's basically the turbo speeds. I mean the base speed is faster on that i7, but fewer threads, fewer cores. So it does, or it has fewer cores but more threads. So I don't know. Everything on paper says that it's 30% slower than the new chip that I've got. So we'll see. Maybe I can find something. Did my file copy ever finish? Man, wouldn't that be great? It's still cooking. Damn, y'all. Oh, but it's got a minute 45. That's not too bad. I can put up with that. No hyperthreading on the 8400. What motherboard did I get? It's you know what? I couldn't even tell you. Let me find out. I can tell you real fast. So I need another file explorer window. Let's go to the D drive. Let's go to tools. Let's go to CPU Z. Such a handy little toy. Let's see what it says. No, we're not going to update. The main board is a ASRock B365M HDV. So it is a Coffee Lake board. So it will take 8th and 9th gen Intel processors that are like i3, i5, and quote Pentium branded. So that's not too bad. But what do you mean there's no hyperthreading? What does that mean? I got 32 gigs of RAM. That's pretty nice. Yeah, 1050 Ti. So not great. Here's Exodium. Hey, Exodium.
Finally, it took me a bit.
That's all right.
Hello.
So what's the deal with hyperthreading? What's the deal? I don't even remember. This word is in my brain.
The threads, they're just hyper, Ron.
I know. They're just, oh my gosh. Take some Ritalin. Wait, let's Google it. Hyperthread.
I think it's basically just a way for like the CPU to cram 2 instructions on one thread at a time. So it kind of creates the illusion of multiple processors.
Mm-hmm. Right. I remember. I didn't know. I can't tell if Biggie John is joking or what, but he's like, oh, there's no hyperthreading. But I remember those Pentium 4. Now that I'm looking at this wiki article, I was like, that's why it didn't make sense to me.
That's why some Pentium 4s,
Pentium 4 with the hyperthreading.
That's why they look like dual CPUs to Windows, because Windows is reporting the extra thread is its own CPU.
Right. So let's see.
I figured out my mistake, Ron.
What was your mistake, brother?
My mistake was thinking that Dell wouldn't have logic, and apparently the 3050 desktop and the 3050 small form factor are two different things when it comes to the cable.
Great.
Isn't that nice?
Great. Thanks, Dell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael Dell. All right.
Didn't he say we should sell all the Apple stock and close up this company?
Then Apple became bigger than Dell.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird how fortunes change.
As Ron likes to say so often, fortunes change fast.
They do. Life comes at you fast. You gotta bop bop the moon.
I guess I'll throw this cable in my collection of useless parts. But I did just find the correct cable on eBay. It was $13 shipped. So.
Well, that's not bad. Oh, all right. In 2019, with Coffee Lake, Intel temporarily moved away from including hyperthreading in mainstream Core i7 desktop processors, except for the highest end i9 parts or Pentium Gold CPUs.
Huh.
They also started recommending disabling hyperthreading as new CPU vulnerability attacks were received, which could be mitigated by disabling hyperthreading. Well, there you go.
Okay, I remember like that whole cluster shag with Intel way back. That that's kind of why I ended up going back to AMD, is because like Intel mismanaged that so badly. But one of the fun nuggets of trivia is that they almost called the vulnerability fuckwit.
Nice.
Because like I forget what the abbreviation is, but it's like basically making fun of Intel just being like not very good at things.
Well, the Pentium 4 is proof that Intel was not very good at things because they were basically like, it seems like there's some life in these Pentium 3 chips. Let's just go back to that.
Yeah. Like they brought back the Pentium 3 design, improved it. Then they buried AMD and got complacent. Then AMD caught up and buried them again.
A lot of burying.
Now it's anybody's guess as to who's the best right now. Like they're both kind of trading blows.
Sure.
I think they both suck equally.
Agreed.
They're stuck. They're stuck on a dead end.
Girls. You're both pretty. Just can we go? Yeah. So, and you know what? There's lots of time like on this new machine. Sorry to keep bitching about this new machine, but like right now, with Chrome completely murdering my computer, it's like 50%. Chrome is just taking up 50% of everything. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
With how Google is trying to like kill ad blockers lately.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just switched cold turkey to Firefox like a few years ago. Never looked back.
I don't use ad blockers, but I also don't use Chrome on a PC except when I have to.
Yeah. I use the uBlock Origin now.
I've never really had an issue with ads.
Ad blocker that Google is trying to kill.
The only site I go to that has ads is YouTube, and I've got premium, so I don't really care.
Mm-hmm. Well, my big thing is when you go to like any of these websites, just any imaginable little website, and it's just like, it's like, oh, here's like your unskippable ad and sliding through some other thing and a pop through, pop over. It's like,
I never get that ever.
Not as much anymore. I mean, I could probably disable it.
The problem with the modern web is it's basically required to use, like, you need an ad blocker or some kind of content blocker, or you're just going to get just relentlessly assaulted with ads.
But I don't. Maybe I'm just visiting different types of sites, but I mean, I usually use the web for eBay and looking up like Mac info and stuff. The only time I ever go to YouTube is if I'm on YouTube.
Right.
I do 90% of my stuff on my phone now.
Sure.
It might be just the sites you visit then in that case, because I think the Mac sites are like, they know people don't like the ads, so they're like, yeah, we're going to run ads, but they're going to be tasteful.
I mean, on my Mac, I use Chrome only really for StreamYard because it doesn't work in Safari. Everything else is Safari.
Mm-hmm.
I think Safari has some level of content blockage just by default.
It has
Apple's privacy.
There's a pop-up blocker built in, but other than that, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Let me look here. My board has Jeremy says oh, sorry, I made it go away. Your current board is comparable to what I have to spare. So do you have 2 or 4 sticks of RAM? I have 2 sticks of RAM in my machine, and there are 2 slots. So there are so it's like 2 16 gig modules. So I got 32 gigs, which I think is the maximum this board supports. Again,
what machine are you running?
This is just my like main like stream machine and all that type of stuff, but it's a Core i5 8400, which is a Coffee Lake, so it's like an 8th generation CPU. Socket 1151. Not all that amazingly fast, I guess.
I have this Core i3 here. You want it?
Yeah, why not? I'll just put it on top, and I have a Core i8.
Yes, I'm actually going to make this into my my Nabu adapter.
Nice. I think one of the saving graces on this machine, Jeremy, is that I have a NVMe, like a 4X NVMe or whatever I mean, there are faster there are faster NVMe storage devices that I could put in here, but I basically this I think caps out at 4x, so that's just what I bought, and it's still way faster than like a SATA drive by a wide margin. So i5 8400. What's the base speed on this guy? Yeah, I'm not doing any overclocking stuff with it. It's I guess the base frequency is 2.8 gigahertz. If I look at maybe I ought to update. Oh no, I don't want to check for device drivers. Thank you, CPU-Z. I want to check for check for new version. There we go. Yes, let's update. Let's get the Chinese zip file, of course. As you can tell by my browser, I definitely want the Chinese language file.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's like, it's ready for download. It's like, I'll just click it like 3 times. Thanks.
Yes.
So let's see. Let me run this again. This is the latest version of CPU-Z. Okay. There. Okay, that's much better because the core speed thing was being reported incorrectly. So it says my machine. I guess it fluctuates around, but it's right around 3.8 gigahertz. So 100 megahertz front side bus. I got to fix that. I got to upgrade to at least 133. That's what all the cool kids are doing.
Yeah, it's like a Power Mac G4.
Mm-hmm.
Does this work? Oh, that's why that was like that.
So at least it's running at the reported speed, but I guess it can go up to 200 megahertz faster.
Ooh.
That's the turbo frequency.
Amazing.
I'm going to hit the turbo bass.
You know what's fun is turbo boost. Like in anything but a desktop, turbo boost has been more trouble than it's worth for me. Like I'm saying this mostly from like a Mac point of view, but like I remember having a 2015 MacBook Pro, and I had to actually turn off turbo boost because it was causing the machine to overheat.
Yeah. I just realized that LGR has IMDb entries for all of his, well, maybe not all, but for a bunch of his episodes. Wow.
That's odd.
It is odd.
I wonder why these nabbies overheated. Could it be the fact that there's no venting in this shell at all?
Maybe.
I mean, zero. It's completely enclosed in steel. Even the vents on the front are fake.
That'll keep the devil out for sure.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna switch here. I'm actually gonna see if I can break this. So let's see. Yep. All right. I clicked the thing, and of course that means OBS is now frozen for me.
Oh.
I keep forgetting. I need to reboot my damn machine. Maybe I will do that real fast since I'm all locked up.
Reboots it, breaks everything. Oh no.
Yeah. All right, give me a minute. I'm gonna reboot. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Barrel B. How's it going, y'all?
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello. All right. I'm going to see if I can copy and do this stuff and have it not. Nope. You click something and it just instantly it locks up OBS. I have no idea why that is.
Well, that's really weird.
Because normally I can do this like midstream. You can click and do stuff and pick an element, move it around, and have the virtual camera going. Just don't know. All right, let me take a look at. I got my computer copying and doing some stuff, so that's always good. I mean, I still get stuff going on. Like I still see the desktop audio stuff flipping around, like the meters and all that. But yeah, the actual application is knackered.
Sucks.
Yep, it's real weird. Don't know why that is. I mean, I can switch between scenes, and yeah, it's just like locked up, just not working. Or actually, I mean, it looks like it's locked up on my end. You guys could actually tell me if it's locked up on the stream or not, but
you're locked
very
up.
much locked up.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to close OBS. I try to. It's not responding, of course. Okay. There we go.
Oh, that is pathetic.
All right. Let's get OBS files are being used by the following application. How is that possible?
Nobody knows.
Stop cam. All right, there we go. Okay. Now let's try this again. Retry.
Now we watch as I blow up my computer live on stream.
That's cool. All right,
Pay
give me
extra
1 second.
for that.
BRB.
Okay. I like how this says use only power cord with same polarity, but then the power cord is hardwired. Okay.
Anything's detachable if you try hard enough.
When I'm done with this project, I probably will be cutting this cord off of here, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So for now, it has to dangle. It's kind of annoying. I'm trying to build a PC into this Nabu case. I might end up using a different computer, though. That's a little smaller. Got to get one of those, like a mini, like a HP Mini or a Lenovo Mini, one of those kind of things.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of those like Ryzen mini PCs out too. I was thinking about that as well.
All right,
I'm just thinking about what I could get for free. Welcome back, Ron.
Hey, thanks.
True.
That's why I was going to use this i3, but I think it's going to be too big to fit in here anyway. So I want to wire it up so that all the lights on the front of the box will work too, and I need a certain setup to do that.
There we go. Trying to make things kind of match, like be the right size across multiple things, which is more trouble than what you kind of think.
Oh.
Let's see what we got here. Hey, I think things are turning around for old Ron.
Oh, good.
I think things are turning around for old Gil. I just went ahead and reinstalled OBS just to see if that would make a difference. And the answer is maybe.
Maybe.
Right. Maybe something good, and maybe something bad.
I had some OBS things, but it was mostly to do with ARM versus x86 version.
Yeah.
The initial releases for ARM were not ready.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can imagine.
That's okay. There's just one bug. There's a known bug that I'm waiting for them to fix, but otherwise I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Joe always tells me, just put it on Windows. Okay. But no.
I mean, the Windows version isn't exactly bug-free either.
Well, the thing is, the spot where I like to sit and chat, and also where I do my work Zooms and WebExes and such, is that Mac, and it has this camera built into the screen, and I don't want to change all that around just for OBS.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
I've tried to recreate my OBS setup on my MacBook when my main PC died for a minute, that was this year. God, time flies. And it just crashed the Mac version of OBS. So
Nice.
Trying to move your setup, good luck. One of the bugs I have is sometimes the video sources don't initialize on the first shot. So I have to restart OBS over and over and over and over, and it's just annoying as all hell.
I get it, man.
Let's see.
That little free hard drive I got from BCF that I'm using now to copy this data onto was actually 2 terabytes.
Nice.
The little Western Digital that was in the free pile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I normally wouldn't trust a drive I got out of a stack of junk, but all I'm copying onto here is episodes of Top Gear, so it's fine. It's not crucial data.
And if the drive did fail, you could be like, that's a shame. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, I can just go down on the same torrent again, and I'm good. So
yeah. There you go.
It's a 162 gig torrent. I just said, I had a bunch of files. I mean, I own the discs, and I had ripped them, but a long time ago, and they were all really kind of not the best quality.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, somebody out there probably has ripped them better than me. So I went in and I was like, I was going to just start downloading each season.
Uh-huh.
And then I found a torrent. It was like seasons 1 through 20, all in one huge thing. And I'm like, go. So I thought, hey, that'll be nice. I'll have all these nice rips. Like the first, what was it? The first 13 seasons were standard def, so they're not really big.
Yeah.
But they put all these little add-on things too, like extra features and commercials and events and stuff. So that's kind of cool to have. And I don't feel bad doing it because I already bought the content.
Absolutely.
From the BBC.
I think that reminds me of something one of the scores I got, first thrift store outing since the pandemic began. I guess they thought it was some old 90s piece of crap, but I was at Savers, and they had a laptop on the shelf where you can actually go and it wasn't locked behind the glass case or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they thought it was a 90s piece of crap, but it was a ThinkPad T430S, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually recent-ish, and all they wanted was $10 for it. So I said, hell yeah, $10, even if it doesn't work,
Right.
whatever, I'm willing to roll the dice. Take it home, and while I'm waiting for a power adapter from my friend, I take it apart, and somebody had a 480 gig SSD in it that was barely used.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, that's very nice. And I still use that as my Final Cut Pro edit drive, on the rare occasion I actually do something.
Mm-hmm.
I got this 8th gen i5 HP laptop for $0.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think we're finally getting past the point where like Haswell is the free tier of junk, and like people are starting to give away like 6th and 7th gen stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can usually get 7th or 8th gen stuff now that is being retired as long as the hard drive can be removed, the SSD or the hard drive.
Yeah.
Because that has to get disposed of in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding that a lot of the newer laptops seem to have a lot of that junk either soldered in or it's really, really hard to get to.
For a very good example, I got this for free. And this is all of it in there, and it's a
wait. Open it back up again.
Open it.
Wait. Open it back up again. Oh, there's a chip in there. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna a processor in there. I was gonna say, what the hell happened to your socket, man?
It melted.
No, I even got the box with the CPU that's sitting up on my console shelf. Like, just gave it to me for free.
That's cool.
And I thought about doing something with it, but I'm actually going to just give it off to my friend who is still on Haswell.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's been meaning to upgrade, but he doesn't have a lot of money to go around. So I'm like, hey, you want this for pretty much the price of shipping? He was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. Thanks.
I can't find my box of screws. I'm just going to not look for it, and then it'll appear.
That's how it goes.
I need the 2 screws to secure the Mac 2 motherboard inside the Mac 2, and I don't want to proceed until I do that, because then I'll forget.
Fair enough.
I think I'm going to use this Mac 2 for a while for testing floppy drives, since I can hook 2 up at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like hook up 2, test. Hook up 2 more, test. Just seeing this chat message from Jeremy. He has an old ITX system. I do not need that.
Yeah, I saw that.
He wants me to send the Nabu to him. Nope. If I could figure out ventilation, I would just stick a Dell or an HP or a Lenovo Mini just in there.
Does it really get that hot?
Well, like if I put say a Core i5 little mini desktop in there.
Yeah.
There's no ventilation in there at all. Zero. It's literally steel on all sides.
Right.
With no holes.
Yeah.
I'm just worried I'd blow up the computer doing that.
Okay.
Clearly, the solution here is to just put the Nabu away for 10 years. Get them M1 Mac Mini when they're pretty much free and stuff that in there.
Yeah, there you go. Sleeper.
Yeah,
it's my sleeper build.
What I could do is just drill 2 holes in the bottom of the case and put 2 fans and just let it go.
Yeah.
But
then you got to hear people complain about, oh my gosh, I can't believe you.
It's a rare and valuable machine. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's not a Nabu PC. It's a Nabu adapter that is totally pointless.
Even though the guy had literally a pallet of them.
I just remember all the grief that people.
Board.
Sorry, Adam. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, I didn't mean to talk over you. You didn't. What were you saying, Ron?
Oh, nothing really important. I was just saying that talking about modding old machines, and people gave David Murray just read him the riot act because I think he modified the case on a like a Commodore Atom or something like that. And I was like, they made millions of these. What do you care?
Well, it's like I got that Apple II that somebody in the past,
Uh-huh.
probably in the early 80s or late 70s, they drilled a hole in it and they put little labels next to the hole that said 3.2 and 3.3.
Yeah,
And
for
it was
DOS.
obviously
Yeah.
for a toggle switch to
Mhm.
flip the boot ROMs
Mhm.
for either 13 or 16 sector disks.
Right.
Well, rather than try to fill it in and get rid of it,
Mhm.
I went ahead and built a switch into the hole and made it
Yeah.
do what it said it was supposed to do.
Right.
And then I posted it on Facebook. And people were like,
Mhm.
how dare you modify this 1978 Apple II? And I'm like, first of all, the hole was already there and I made it
Right.
work. And then a
Yeah.
bunch of people like jumped in and defended me. Like Javier was like, no, he didn't ruin it. He fixed it. Like he went over all the
Yeah.
reasons. And then they listened to
Absolutely.
him. They weren't listening to me, but they listened to him. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You should have said, "Hey guys, I've started a Kickstarter to restore this machine back to its original glory." It's
Yeah.
I think
Who wants to chip in?
yeah, I think that I got to get some very specific Bondo for this case. It's a 1.2 mil. I think I should be able to knock this baby out.
I might have to have custom paint made up with a certain code, so that's about $500.
I'm gonna have to have original developers from the or original devs from the Apple One team or the Apple II team to come by.
I'm gonna have to fly out and have Steve Wozniak personally inspect it to make sure that it's up to par. Or I could put a toggle switch in that I got from a guy in Arizona for $8.
Yeah, probably the way to go.
I kind of gave up on like the Facebook groups because like the one time like Ron, you remember when I like had to hot air the blue and white G3 to get rid of the troublesome ATA chip on it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I posted that to the Vintage Mac Facebook group, and somebody like really wanted to have a go at me. They're like, "You didn't need to do that." I'm like, "Yes, I did. It literally would not see anything on that IDE bus that I would put into it." It's like, yeah, but you didn't do the proper diagnosis first. I was like, yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Please
I had
stop.
something like that when I changed out the IWM, the floppy controller in the 2C. Everybody was like, "Well, that never breaks." And I'm like, "Well, I've gone through 150 of these computers in the last 3 years, and I found one that broke." So, and they're like, "Yeah, okay." And so I actually sent that IWM to one of the complainers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, this is bad." I'm like,
yeah,
calm down. Oh, and then Jeremy says 3D print a fan scoop for the rear of the Navi, but there's no holes at all on the back of the case. It's not like there's nowhere to put a fan. There's just no holes. Like literally, there's a hole the size of a DIN 5.
Yeah.
For the computer connection, and then there's a hole where the little coax breakout box would screw on, and that's missing actually. So it's like a little like the size of a coax hole, and that's the only openings on the entire back of the machine.
Crazy.
The PC has a fan and it has a vent, but the adapter doesn't. It actually uses two big chunky whatever you call those thingies. My brain's not working. The round thingies that turn power into like 5 volts or 12 volts or
transformer.
Yes. Well, no. There is a transformer in there, but on the back of the machine, there's the round things that like you give it power and it'll spit out 5 volts. Transistor or something like that. I don't remember. Okay. But there's 2 of those on the back with a heat sink hanging on the outside of the case, and I guess they thought that's the only thing that makes heat. So why bother to put vents in?
Right.
But there's a big ass transformer inside there, and then there's this capacitor that's just like the size of this beer bottle. So
that's crazy.
Yes.
Jeremy says, "Hey, I found a source to get VRAM for my PowerPC 7200, but they want $25 a stick. You seem to go
expensive.
For 14 used on eBay. My advice would be to spend $25 on a like a Rage 128. like a 4 meg Rage 128. That's Mac. Got a Mac BIOS on it.
Yeah, Mac Rage 128 Pro. With what, 4 megs of RAM, 8 megs of RAM on it.
Yeah,
I think they're 8, if I remember correctly.
Some of them were upgradable, but yeah, somewhere in that range. And then that's probably cheaper than the VRAM, and it's going to be way quicker than that onboard.
Yeah.
That video that's on this 7000 series is super antiquated, even from when it was new. It's basically a 840 AV video on a Power Mac.
So generally, like Rage 128 is a good match because that's really as far as you want to go with that. Because like it used to be that you could get Radeon 7000s for fairly cheap, like even the PC ones, and they're easy to flash over to Mac. But they've gone up in price quite significantly over the last like few months, and unfortunately, with the Radeon 7000, it's not going to perform much better than a Rage 128 due to bus speed limitations.
Yeah.
Like, I found that out with the Power Mac 9600, and that's kind of why I ended up mothballing it for the most part, because all the upgrades I did to that thing didn't matter in the end because the bus speed just choked out any potential benefits. And funnily enough, that was a complaint even when that machine was new.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Power Mac G3s were right around the corner. And so people were like, yeah, the only reason you should get a 9600 is if you need all of the PCI slots. Otherwise, it's not a good machine.
Right.
Well, it really gives you it basically gives you 2 extra slots if you use onboard video, because you have to add a video card no matter what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because the onboard video is gone that the 8600 has.
Yeah, back in the day I had an 8600, and I used a couple of the spots in the bottom for breakout stuff because it still had all 6 PCI holes. But I never missed having the extra slots really. The one thing that saved the day was when they came out with USB and FireWire on a single card.
I used to run 2 discrete cards, but then like I found one of those cards. And I was told that they don't fully work under Classic until I just tried plugging in a FireWire drive and it mounted right up. And I was like, you're kidding me. I've been sitting on this for this long and it just works.
A lot of FireWire cards just work. Depends on the chipset. And then USB 1 at least is easy to make go.
Yeah, USB worked right out the box like that. I never had any doubts with that. But FireWire, it just worked. I thought you had to patch in FireWire support, but no, it just worked.
The 8500 I got recently came with this super generic USB card in it. Just works. No drivers.
Yeah, I have like one of those too, just sitting around here doing nothing.
Faceplate on this is all loose though. What's up with that?
At this point, like my main vintage Mac that's on my retro desk, which is behind me at the moment, is my MDD, just because that's the machine that it's the best Mac OS 9 machine I have on hand.
It's the best, worst one you have.
I was just thinking
You
that.
ain't wrong. That thing is loud, and that's why I don't ever fire it up. I really like one of my projects before VCF this year. I say this year, talk about next. But that's if VCF West even becomes a thing, because it's very much looking like it's going to be canceled this year. But
what? Say that again.
VCF West is looking like it's probably going to be canceled.
Yeah, that's fine, and nothing was lost.
So I'm probably going to get my VCF fix at Midwest if I end up going. But I do know we wanted to collaborate with another exhibit for VCF West. We wanted to have a big LAN party of that era Mac. And one of my goals was to get the MDD to run a bit quieter and cooler by replacing the power supply with something a little bit more modern, but it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Right.
I have a whole bunch of G4s in storage, and I have no desire to look at any of that. Maybe it's just too new for me. The newest machine that I like that's not modern is the beige Power Mac G3 that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to get mine running again, but it's currently kind of mothballed with a dead power supply at the moment.
Mine works. It's just it's got a really crusty Mac Store, like really slow IDE drive in it. I need to, if I pull that machine out to use, I'm gonna have to switch that to some kind of solid state thing. But the zip and the CD in it still work.
Yeah.
But it's all stock. It's like what is it, like 333, I think.
What was fun is up until recently, I had a G4 for one of them because I traded way long time ago. It feels like now traded Ron for one of his beige G3s and had a G4 in it.
Yeah. I was like, it had a bunch of stuff in it. And I was like, you'll make good use of it.
Yeah.
And
I
I had
actually
it for
put my G3 back in storage because I wasn't really using it. And then once I got that PowerBook G3 going, it's the same speed. It has all the same ports and it has the same media. It has the optical zip and floppy. So, I mean, I can't use them all at one time, but it takes way less room. So it's got the screen built in. So it just sitting on top of my printer. If I ever need a bridge machine, I pull that out and plug it in 2 seconds.
I really want to get like the beige G3 is like the perfect machine for me because it still evokes the feeling of nostalgia, but it's new enough to not feel super slow and held back.
Right.
Whereas
you got all the adapters. I mean, you can go up using the PCI slots, but then you can go down using floppy disk or serial ports or whatever.
Yeah, it's amazing. And like the MDD for me is one of those machines I lusted after, but it's from a practicality standpoint. Personally, I wouldn't hold on to it if that thing didn't have sentimental value because I got that MDD basically from like when I first met Garth because he noticed I had an SE up on Craigslist I was trying to get rid of to fund another project. And he messaged me. He's like, hey, you're local. And because I had a link to a YouTube video showing it working, he said, I know who you are. I've seen you on Mac 84's streams. And that's when we met up and I traded it for the MDD. And then out of nowhere, I get a DM on Twitter from somebody named Justin D. Morgan. Who's like, hey, I've got a video card that'll work in that thing. Do you want it? And I was like, hell yeah. So that machine is kind of, I can't get rid of it because it was my gateway drug into the community. So I'm not allowed to get rid of it.
Oh.
My blue and white G3, however, that went on the chopping block and now Garth owns it.
Somebody in the chat said Apple II forever. Here you go. Nice. Apple II forever. It's been sitting on the floor over here forever. Ron, how's your copy going?
Hold on. I'm not even looking at my thing currently. It seems to be going okay.
Cool. Oh, my download finished. Yay. It says if I want to upload it, it'll only take 3 months and 3 weeks.
Sweet.
I'm going to stop sending it.
You should say yes. You should say, yes, I would like to send this.
I'm one of those jerks who, when I download a torrent, I just immediately kill it when it's done because I'm not sitting here uploading. You can go get it wherever.
The only reason I don't immediately kill torrents these days is because I don't ever download them locally anymore because one of my friends actually has a remote server that he delegates that stuff to, and he gave me the login for it. So whenever I need to download something, I'll just go and tell his server, hey, go grab that torrent for me, please.
Right.
And then I'll go grab it myself via FTP.
Nice.
It's complicated, but also I'm on Comcast, and they're known to get very angry if they see you torrenting.
Yeah.
I don't do it a lot, so I don't feel bad about it.
I've actually heard Comcast sent a nastygram to somebody for torrenting. I kid you not, a copy of Ubuntu Linux.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but that's freeware.
I know that's
Right.
that's the neat part.
Stupid.
That's the joke.
Haha. All right. I'm going to kill this app. I think Mac OS, whatever this is, 13, thinks it's all being all happy because when you reboot, it opens up all the stuff that was already open. Like, don't do that. Like, let me control my own computer, please.
There should be, Adam. There should be like a little thing right here. It says open all windows when logging in. If you
Yeah.
uncheck it when you go to log off or shut down, it should obey that forever.
Okay. I jumped from, what was it, High Sierra directly to whatever was OS 12. And so I missed out on a lot of things that happened in the meantime.
You missed out on one of the worst Mac OS releases ever made, which was Catalina.
I didn't ever
really?
use that. Catalina.
Catalina was awful, and just it was when Apple was still trying to figure out what they were doing with the whole thing where they phone home for every app you launch to make sure it's safe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you'd have, if your internet connection started having issues, it would just not launch an app. It would be like, we can't phone home. We're not launching this. And then they got rid of 32-bit apps too. But in hindsight, we know why they did that.
Well, that's the one thing that kept me from upgrading for a long time, because I could have gone one more OS up, I think, but I wanted to run Photoshop, and I couldn't run my paid copy of Photoshop because it was 32-bit, and it wouldn't work in a higher OS. It's still running on my Mini. I can just screen share onto it and still run it, but it's annoying.
To me, it feels like Mojave was like the last really good version of Mac OS to date, in my experience, because it had dark mode for those who like that. You could still have NVIDIA driver support for, if you're running a discrete GPU in whatever machine you have. Still had 32-bit apps, and it didn't feel overly buggy when I updated. It was very nice. Everything after that has been a bug-ridden mess, and the only reason I upgraded this machine to Ventura is because it's having an intermittent Wi-Fi issue that is still present, unfortunately.
That's annoying.
And my phone's doing it too, which is really fun. Like, it'll just lose connection for no reason, and I have to cycle Wi-Fi to get it to work again.
Nice.
So that was 2:45.
I think the first one of these is almost done.
Cool.
Less than a minute. So after that, only 4 to go. It's like 8 gigs. It's roughly about 12 gigs worth of stuff. So it's just going to take a bit.
Yeah.
Probably good a time as any to mention that Adam made my background picture here. With all the batteries. I bet that he has.
So
I still have all those. They're in a jar.
Just gaining value every day.
Yeah.
At VCF West, you guys know Elemento, right?
Yes.
Okay. He was running a booth at VCF West where he was basically like, "Hey, bring me your stuff, I'll fix it." And he had a jar full of old batteries, capacitors, and reefers. And I don't know if I sent the picture to Ron because I was like, "Hey, Ron, look at this. This is all you right here."
Yeah.
All right. Holy.
Oh, progress bar is not progressing. But that's okay because it finished.
6
drive
gigs in
1.
20 seconds. The power of USB 3.
So there's that. And then, is this notes file the same as the other notes file? I sure think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, away we go. More copying. More copying action. Action. Action.
You know, progress bars are a thing that scare me because they remind me of having to bug test the SCSI device that shall not be named and just like, please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but progress bar is not moving, and it's like, oh god, oh no.
I don't know how I scored this, but I guess Adafruit is following me on Mastodon. I don't know how I scored that, I guess.
Dana is following me on Mastodon, I believe. I was like, cool, I'm interesting enough for you.
Yeah. I always feel like a little like, oh wow, that's really cool. It's like
I don't agree. You know that what the guy that worked for that company does, right?
The Adafruit stuff?
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a whole nasty side to them.
Yeah, no, I know. I've heard about that. I didn't say it reciprocated. But
I don't. I have them all blocked on Twitter. I haven't seen them on Mastodon. If I do, I'll block them there too.
I have a bunch of little Adafruit boards here and stuff. I don't really have a lot of stuff through that group of folk. I had like some little battery boards, and that's what I looked at their battery boards and I was like, I guess. And then that's why I made mine. I made my own.
I don't have anything to say about their products or any of their tech stuff. It's the way that the people that work for them acted towards customers that I didn't appreciate. So
yeah.
There seems to be a common theme with some of these places because, I mean, of course, I've got to bring up the adjacent issue of how, like, Raspberry Pi got called out for doing a thing that they did, and they responded to it in the worst possible way they could have.
Yeah. Well, I think that's honestly that was their media person or whatever. They had some kid that was like, I don't understand. I don't know the problem. Whatever, man. You need to touch grass.
Screw it. I'm gonna they're like, okay, I'm gonna be refreshingly blunt about things, but some people don't realize that being blunt is a skill in and of itself, and there's a place and a time for it.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever was managing Raspberry Pi's media that day did not realize wrong place and wrong time.
Yes, Jeremy, I do. It's right here. I need to, I have a serial mouse at work and I meant to bring it home today so I could plug that in because I figured that's like the least likely thing to cause a problem. So.
Why are British TV shows so short per season?
Because they produce so much content, so much stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's on the BBC, you're getting 6 episodes, baby, and that's it.
Well, I just also like the fact like I'm copying Top Gear over right now and I'm dividing it up by season, and they'll have like season whatever 4 and 5, and they're actually both from the same year because they like do it one in the fall and one in the spring. Yeah.
Jeremy, my plan is to take some high resolution pictures of the inside of this and post it online here in the next day or two. So I will make sure that I ping you when I do that, so everybody can just take a look-see at what's going on inside.
I can't remember what that little RJ11 or whatever it is jack was for.
Yeah, and that's what kind of made me think that it was something for like, I mean, I could certainly get a multimeter out and like see, but I think because it is just an RJ11 jack. But if I look inside, I only see. I mean, I want to pull the board out and everything and look at the bottom.
Yeah.
But on the top, there's. I mean, at least on the top layer, there's only two things actually going out to it. So I don't know if it's just some sort of little connection for programming this, or I don't know. Just
I remember that
two
being on that
leads.
box, but I don't remember what it was for. I remember I didn't use it, but I don't remember why it was there.
Silicon Valley Bus Company.
Bus. Welcome to the bus. Season 6. Well, they got 11 episodes in season 6. Fancy.
I just loaded up Mastodon, and Ron's still looking for a ComSlot Ethernet card.
Well, I just posted that. I mean, just.
I know, but I remember you being on the prowl for one for quite some time.
Yeah, I just I need one for my 7200, or I'm sorry, 7200 for my 6360.
How's it say? That doesn't go there.
You just got to push really hard.
What slots are in that machine? There's a COM slot, and what else?
It's nice because it's got a media in, so it's got the ability to have a video capture card. It's got a COM slot. It has an LC compatible PDS slot and a PCI slot.
Ah,
it's got it all, Jerry.
Well, why don't you just put an Ethernet card in a PCI slot?
No, that is a waste of a PCI slot. Because I think the plan would be to put in a, like if I could find a, because I actually had a couple of Rage 2028 Pros, but the problem was they were the 12-inch card because they were for power computing machines. So I gave those to Tom and to Steve. And
well, I gave Steve a 12-inch video card I couldn't use too. So
yeah,
he's got all the stuff.
Yeah, he's got all the machines to be able to use all that stuff. I do not. So
real men use these.
Oh yeah, the AUI.
Yeah, but the 6360 doesn't have that, does it?
No, it does not have AAUI. No.
The 8500 has 10 base T and AAUI, but you can't use it at the same time.
Right.
It's kind of, I guess, to be friendly towards people who have both invested either in RJ45 or AAUI stuff, I guess. I really like these adapters, though, because they give me quite a bit of length as an extension.
Oh, yeah.
I have a stack of these somewhere. I need to find them. If you're like, hey, anybody want a free one? Pay shipping.
Yeah, I had a couple of Faleron ones for a long time, and I don't know what I did with them. So I have one that I leave plugged into a Ethernet cable in my little networking closet. As you can see, look how long my arm is in this picture.
Wait, I can't see.
Well, it's like my arm exits like one camera and enters the view of the other camera. So,
that's good. It's magic.
It is magic. I get David Copperfield on the phone.
Okay.
But no, it just stays on the end of that cable so I don't lose it.
Okay. My extra AAUIs are sitting on top of the CRT that's next to my Quadra, which is one of the only machines in here that uses one of those. So I remember where it is.
Now, one thing about the COM slot too is that they're 10 megabit. I don't know that it really matters, but
the only thing that matters with is some of those will not talk right to a modern switch.
Right.
So I always have a 10100 dumb switch on my retro stuff, and then I plug that into the Cisco switch.
Yeah.
I have some enterprise switches, thankfully, seems to be okay with talking to like 10 megabit things, thankfully.
If you have a smart switch that you can tell it, hey, do 10 megabit half duplex or whatever it needs, it'll work. But I don't have my switch is not that good. It's a rack mounted switch, but it's just fairly dumb.
I just got lucky because a local shop to me was like, "Hey, we're getting rid of a bunch of stuff. You want to come look?" And they had like a stack of like enterprise switches, and I took a couple.
Yeah, I'd be like, yes, have some.
Speaking of
You want some of this?
cables,
Yes, absolutely.
I want all of it.
some people have an over easy. I guess I have an over hard.
Mm-hmm. Son of a diddly. What do you got there?
This is my
You're gonna put it in
external
an external.
SCSI jig.
Yeah, I was gonna say put that in a external enclosure. 3D print something. There you go.
With the Joe added googly eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've since gotten better and got a DB25, but still, this holds a special place in my heart. Plus, it's the only one I can connect externally to my Lombard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a Lombard. I have a Wall Street.
I used to have a Wall Street, but got rid of it.
What's the 3400?
What's the what?
3400.
PowerBook 3400?
3400C.
Yeah, I never really had any experience with one of those.
Something that makes me sad is I have one of these.
Ka-chunk.
Ka-thunk. And it's a very nice 1400 CS with a G3 upgrade, but it's not mine.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it was sent along to me because the person who owned it could not figure out what was wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, someone in another chat I was in said, "Did you check the RAM? Because if the RAM is bad, the machine will act stone dead."
Yeah.
And sure enough, that was the problem. So I removed one of the small RAM modules. It came right back to life and told my friend, "Hey, I'll ship this back to you when USPS is cooled down from the holidays." It's a really nice machine. Wish I could have it, but unfortunately, it's not mine.
Just steal it.
Sorry, broke it. Can't have it.
Speaking of shipping holiday stuff, the package I had that was stuck in Canada finally started moving today again. I think Buffalo started thawing out.
I've been having some interesting shipping issues lately, and that's why I'm waiting to send anything out at the moment. One of the fun things that's been going on apparently is there's a guy who I'm making an assumption on gender there, but I'm just saying there's a guy who is selling Power Mac G4 Cube replacement VRMs, and apparently they have been really taking liberties with shipping to the point where like some people are getting straight up tired of it. And I know somebody in the community is like looking at making their own replication of it, so it's like we have a version of it in like made in the US, so it doesn't take 3-4 months for it to get here from Japan.
Sorry.
Yeah. That was fresh in my mind because I remember somebody was complaining about it in a Discord I was in like a couple days ago, and also that the VRMs they ordered blew up and took the machine with it.
Oh, good. It's always handy.
JVH, you guys might have talked about this. JVHS says recommendations for PCI cards for my 7200. I think Exodium will tell you right off the bat, like a SATA card.
SATA!
Get away from SCSI on that machine.
What's Sonnet card?
Oh, watch it be okay. No, I actually have SATA.
I gave JVHS a 7200 accelerator. It's a PCI card that has a G3 on it and a couple RAM slots.
Wait, is that one that's like basically like an entire computer on the board?
It is. It's like a computer on the board and uses your 7200 as a backplane. It's so funny.
Is the 7200 the one that doesn't have the regular CPU socket?
Correct.
Like the card socket?
And that's why the accelerator is a PCI card.
I would have just put a 7500 board in it and been like,
yeah. But still, it's kind of neat. It's kind of an oddity, that card.
Yeah, that's a pretty
So
weird thing. I remember that when it came out. There was also for the 7100 and 8100, they had the thing where it popped in where the video card went, and then the video card was sitting there upside down off a ribbon cable.
yeah,
They
there
came
was
up with some really wacky stuff back then.
and oh gosh, the 6100. There's a adapter, or there's a thing in there that basically there was one that would like plug into the cache slot.
Yeah.
And that was your accelerator, or there was another one that would plug into the PDS slot, and then it gave you basically. I've got one here. Hold on, I'll show it.
What you could do for a PCI card is, if you get lucky, find one of those ones Action Retro had that's like a combo SATA FireWire USB card.
Oh, sorry.
What's that for? 6100?
Hold on, I make this bigger. Yeah, this is a expansion for the 6100 that will give you so you can use that, like that video card you sent me. Yeah, that's what'll plug in there.
But there's also one company made one of those that did that, but it also on that riser guard, it had like a G3 upgrade on it.
Right.
And then you could still plug the video card into it.
This is like for a 60, or I'm sorry, this is for a Quadra 610.
Yeah.
Because so you can use the DOS compatibility card.
And my PowerPC card would fit on that.
Yeah, or exactly, the PowerPC expansion card or upgrade card.
Yeah, I would rather just leave it running System 7. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking for that. I mean, a PowerPC isn't that big of an improvement on a Quadra 610.
Yeah, mine's a centrist, but I'm pretty sure I put a full 040 in it.
Oh wow, a 40. I mean, well, still, I just think with the PowerPC upgrade card, because it just clock doubles, a 40 megahertz 601.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah. Ooh, not good.
That's kind of the reason why I sold off my G3 upgrade for my Power Mac 9600, because I got a Mach 5 board for it. And I was like, a G3, yeah, it's neat here, but like, I also have a card I can bump up to 350 megahertz if I so please. At that point, it's like, is the difference really worth it?
Usually, like back in the day, I always thought these upgrades were awesome because like I don't have to buy a whole new $3,000 Mac. But
right
now, it's like, why do I want to find? I mean, they're neat, I get it, but why do I want to find like a G3 card for something that was not a G3 when I can just use a G3?
Yeah, I agree. Especially now, that's just kind of how it is.
On the older machines, I still like it. Like on my Mac 2 and 2X, I like putting the 33 megahertz grades in because that makes those machines actually usable. And like on the SE30, I love having that 040 in there. It just makes the thing like a Quadra, but you can pick the whole thing up and move it.
Yeah.
So
neat.
Yeah. I love how FedEx texts me like, "Oh, your package is on the way," like as if they had just picked it up, and they haven't had it for 10 days.
I've been getting double notifications from UPS like, your package is on the way, your package is delivered.
I sent out that 2FX board and it's already in Texas.
As Jeremy has said, I can pull anything interesting into view in a split second. Yes. Because my laptop shelf is actually like right next to me.
I can trip over more stuff than I can get to. I really need to clean this room up. Oh, it departed Buffalo, so it should be here tomorrow.
Hey, Exodium, it's you have 30 minutes to move your car. You have 10 minutes to move your car. Your car has been impounded. Your car has been crushed into a cube. You have 30 minutes to move your cube.
Oh boy.
I think I found a card, but the problem is I just don't know.
I don't know.
It's one of those websites where it's just sort of like, oh, we might have the thing, but just go ahead. If you pay us, we'll see if we can find it. And it's
I hate
like
those.
it's like, no, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
What you're suggesting is something that I'm not excited about.
So these old files are AVIs and these new ones are MKVs.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's taking a long time to copy 160 gigs over to the NAS.
Well, you shouldn't have done it at on your 4 megabit token ring network. Actually, I will tell you what. When I worked for Micro Age, we had a lot of clients out there that still used token ring.
Yeah.
And so the big thing that we would do is we would, like, I had like 1 million MAUs laying around,
Right.
you know. So people would call and they would say like, "Oh man, we just need to add one more," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't just have like a splitter, like a tube,
Right.
you know, or just a Y cable."
Yeah,
for
you're at a hard limit.
MAU. Yeah, it's so you're gonna have to buy another MAU, or you might have to buy a cow or something like that, depending on what exactly you're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, we had something like that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what most people elected to do was to buy a 10 megabit Ethernet to MAU. So basically, they could just, and then at that point, they just started running Ethernet different places. And then when those machines died, they would just replace them with stuff that used Ethernet. But that was a reality for a lot of people for a long time, especially at my education clients or education customers, just because they had they bought EduQuest and they bought IBM because nobody ever got fired for buying IBM.
Yeah, they should have.
Well, at the time, it was a different world.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
But a lot of those customers, actually, we got in trouble with Microage. We didn't sell enough IBM stuff, so we had to pull some of our logos. Like we couldn't use they were punishing us. We couldn't use the Lexmark logo.
Oh.
Some other just goofy stuff.
That's sad.
So, but I will tell you what, man, I sold 100 trillion of those EduQuest machines. Like the ones that have like the 14-inch color VGA display. They're 486s. They're nothing to write home about, but I mean, it was nice, like an all-in-one machine. And I mean, there was even a CD-ROM option. I mean, it was a pain in the ass to, like, if somebody bought like the base ones and then we're like, oh, we want to upgrade, they'd come back and it would just be like just a total pain in the butt to get all that stuff upgraded.
Get one of these.
What the heck is that? Is that your token ring card?
My token ring new bus card, with an IBM daughter card on it.
Nice.
What you had reminded me of was back in the day, it was the mid 90s, I think, and we were just putting a few things on 100 megabit instead of 10.
Yeah.
And I think our switch was something like 5 ports, and it was really, really expensive for 5 ports.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So we were deciding who got to have, of course, the file server got a port, and the Mac that ran the actual program got a port, and then there was one other machine. I think it was a compact ProLiant got a port.
Right.
And so there was 2 ports left, and we decided between us that there was only really 3 of us that were like tech guys. So me and the other nerd guy that were designing the rack were like, okay, we get the other 2 ports, and then our boss was like, no, I need that, and so we hooked him up to 10 megabit anyway, and he never noticed.
Yeah.
I want to make a board to hang on the wall to put all like these cards that are useless but they're neat looking.
Yeah, they
Just
are.
Mount it, and hang it up.
Computer Reset, they had all that stuff from IBM. And
Yes.
they had mouse, cows, lambs, 4 megabit, 16 megabit. They had like the big Chonko cables. They had the stuff that came later that was just like RJ45 and
How did that?
adapters.
I mean,
And
if the guy had sold all that stuff back when it was not ancient, he
Mm-hmm.
probably could have got a lot of money, not had that stupid warehouse full of garbage.
well, I think it's kind of one of those things because he had such a relationship with IBM that they would just, whenever they had something come up, he would just be like, I'm just going to buy all of it. And eventually he'd sell it. It was like Shreve Systems, where it was
Yeah,
just like, yeah, we'll take all your Mac XLs and we'll make a bundle and we'll sell them. So, I mean, if he doubled his money on what he already sold, I mean, he still doubled his money and then had a bunch of stuff sitting in the warehouse.
yeah, but he had too much stuff because eventually he was doing stuff like throwing the computers into the mud in the back and whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Well, just nowhere else to store it. I mean, he had a pallet of color composite monitors
yes,
that were just like buried in the mud. Actually, when I was there before Dave Murray went and got one, they were trying to sell them to me, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can just get these color composite monitors." I mean, they're just a little muddy. I was
I
like, "What do
got
you
one.
mean
I actually got one. There
muddy?"
was a guy went there and got a bunch, and he gave me one when I was visiting down there. I got it to work. It's uglier than hell, but it works fine.
That's cool. JVHS, you're forcing me to go over to whatever the hell that website's called, YouTube, so I can actually click your link.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's. All right. Internal floppy. What?
You know, you can copy that URL from
You
here
can copy
and
that floppy?
yeah, it's that
No,
too.
this doesn't look like what you need.
You just need a manual inject Mac floppy drive.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Panasonic.
Well, there's multiple manufacturers. Let me look
Yeah.
at this link. Media equals copy.
Well, if I Google it and I look at the connector on the back, it sure does kind of look like a Mac connector.
Yeah, that looks like a right drive. That's one of them.
Yeah.
As long as it's got a 20-pin ribbon cable connector, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Um,
It doesn't
that's
appear to. Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
I was going to say that the manual inject drives all have the black flap on the front and usually have that manual eject button on the lower
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
But they are made by multiple companies: Mitsubishi, Sony, Panasonic, Toshiba. Apple just sent out the specs and said, "Hey, everybody, make this for me," rather than only doing Sony. Sometimes you can find these drives with the bracket too, if you need the bracket. A lot of people pull them and leave the bracket on. So if that's something that you want. On the other hand, the bracket will probably crumble into dust. So
Yeah. But there are some 3D printed or ones you can get that are 3D printed these days that are pretty stout.
I've seen the hard drive ones, but the floppy one is subtly different. I don't know if anybody's made the floppy version. The mounting holes are different.
Well, the
$30 seems steep for this drive
these
too.
Mac Drive Caddy universals, it has holes drilled already for, you can't really see them because I've got like some stickum on here that's in the way.
Oh.
But you can, it's all set up for floppy or for hard drive.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, I guess I could have switched to the proper. Yeah. It's maybe that's a little easier. You see, it's got a bajillion holes.
Yeah, it's got
So
way more holes than normal. So yeah, they just
Yeah.
combine the two brackets. Other
Mhm.
than the holes, it's usually they're the same sled basically.
Yeah, but you can see, like, here's the real sled,
Yeah.
and then there's the faker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a 5 1/4 inch version of that used in a couple machines,
Yeah, I've actually got a couple of those too.
but not just for CD-ROM. There's one, I think it was in the Molar Mac. It's a 5 1/4 inch sled, but it only has 3.5 inch mounting holes for the drive.
Mm-hmm. But there's the regular 5 1/4. Whoa, shit! I'm dropping everything.
Oh.
That's the regular one, and then here's the aftermarket one.
Yeah.
So it's still really set up for 5 1/4 inch devices.
The other one I'm talking about is really rare. I actually have a brand new Apple Service part, one of those 5 1/4s, but
Yeah.
it's old enough that it's not. It's pre-spindler,
Oh wow.
so it's not broken.
I have I've got a
Jeremy
good
wants to know
little.
where you got that 3.5 inch.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. There's a video on my channel. If you Google Mac Drive Caddy Universal, it should take you to the dude's site. I did a video about him on my channel maybe about a year ago when I bought like several of them.
I remember watching that, but at the time I didn't have a printer, so I was like, eh.
Yeah.
But I have platinum PLA now, so I can make new ones.
Yeah.
I want to print a whole front to an 8500.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Print the whole support structure for one. That would be a long print.
Yeah, I don't think my bed's big enough to actually print either of those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, here you printed in parts.
Yeah, that's true.
So here again, you can maybe see it in the smaller thing. You can see because that's Joe. Joe printed this one, so you can tell like a slight difference, but it's a lot better than having nothing there. It's a lot better than it just being blank.
Print one with a 3.5 hole, so you can put a zip drive in there. No,
I'd never do it. I pull all that stuff out. It's actually I've got because I can't remember who I sent it to, but somebody needed a zip, like an internal zip 100.
Yeah.
And that 9600 that I bought had one of those. Pulled that out immediately.
Oh, I like to put zip drives in everything. I want zip drives. I have a zip drive hooked up to my M1 Studio.
Mm. And then also, I had it's like a 1 or a 2 gig Jazz.
Yeah.
Internal. So I was like, meh, pull that too.
I want that.
Do you need it? I'll send it to you.
No, I don't need it.
Okay.
I still want it
then. Oh shit, my computer turned off. Like what happened back there?
I don't know.
Oh, the screen, like it went to sleep. I was like, what the hell?
You got to get one of these, Ron.
Your energy saver?
Hey, look at that.
Hold on. Let's look. I'm looking.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty. But, I mean, I had that stuff back in the day, and it doesn't speak to me.
Here you go.
It's got a really strong spring. Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's very nostalgic, but it's at the same time, I'm just kind of like, meh.
I actually use zips for easy transport of data around my ecosystem of ancient garbage.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can still have a zip drive on a Mac from 2022 is cool to me. So if I want to read a file, like if I make a file on, like, say my my PowerBook G3, which has a zip drive in it, I can write it to the zip drive. I could stick it in this, and I can read it directly on my modern Mac.
That's cool.
And not have to worry about networking working, because it's always
Right. My problem is this, Adam, is that I like the zip drive, like right out of the box, like stressed me out because you get it out and they include the disk tools on a zip disk. So you're just like, well, I just want to, I want to use I want this to be blank already so I could just use this and I don't have to like stress over.
Well, I had the original the Zip 100 when it first came out, like the first 2 years it was out. It actually included a floppy disk that had the drivers on it. But after a while, they're like, well, everybody has these drivers now. So they just said, screw the floppy disk. And of course, that worked 99% of the time. But sometimes people like just hadn't upgraded their OS to one that had the zip stuff built in.
Right.
So, but I was surprised that Pentium 3 that I got came with a 250 zip in it. Like, okay. Even the computer I hate has a zip drive in it.
I need to get a battery in this thing.
I have one. You want it?
No, I have one too, and it's out. So I need to make something like a smallish replacement for these. That's tough though. 4.5 volt.
You can get a Mac Plus size 4.5 volt battery still.
Yeah.
It's alkaline, and then you can get a holder for it and then wire that in.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go, in fact.
Those will leak, but not as bad as a half AA did.
Right.
And I did find somebody who was selling a modern replacement for that, but I think their stock was about 4 years old, so I don't know if I would trust it.
Yeah.
Of course, you could always get a triple AA holder and then just make 4.5 volts that way.
Yeah, but that's way too big.
Yeah, I know.
I want small.
How about triple AAA holder?
It lasts like a week.
Yeah, that's true.
So actually, I made out on Tinkercad. I made a sabot for that battery for like the Mac Plus and all of that.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so I've already been kind of thinking about doing some other stuff.
I don't bother with the battery on the Mac Plus and the 512 or whatever because
pointless.
There's the year glitch anyway.
Yeah.
It's who cares? If I need to set a clock, I just tell it it's like 1986, and then I just do whatever I'm doing.
Right. I'm with you.
Now on an 030 or newer kind of machine, I do like to have the clock working.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something I'm using a lot, like that Quadra, right there.
Yeah.
It has a battery in it because I like the clock to work, and it has the 21st century patch on it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I don't know that I'm losing a lot of sleep over some of those older machines, but there's probably a few things that would be handy to be able to keep those settings. But
that one, it goes weird if it loses battery because it's got a fairly odd video card in it.
Oh, sure.
And it loses the settings. It goes back to like 640 by 480, and that 16-inch monitor won't run on that. So
yeah.
That's the main reason. And then the other reason I play a lot of SimCity on there, and I like to have the dates of my save files be correct.
Oh, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have to run upstairs for just a sec. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, Harry the Handsome Executive. That's one of the games that supports MIDI on the Mac. So that's why I'm adding it to my collection.
Since there was a bit of a lull, I actually need to get going because I need to do some things and probably try and get some sleep and get back on a normal schedule.
No, I understand.
And probably fail completely miserably at it.
That's all right. Thanks for stopping by.
No worries. I'll see you guys around later.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. And then there were two. Yeah, just kind of trying to get this stuff copied and get it off of there, and then maybe I'll be able to actually do some fun stuff. So yeah, there's I actually have a MT32 because there's some Mac games that'll just do like MT32. There's some Mac games that are that'll work with Sound Canvas, and then there's some other stuff. But basically, I am just going. Is there? Again, these are just Muppet jokes because it's like I think it was Jim Henson's Muppet Babies, and I think the stream was called just whatever. It was Jim Henson's Power Macintosh 6360 Babies. What did I call the one last night? I'll have to go and look because I sure don't remember. I'm getting to the point in the evening or the morning where I just don't know. I just don't know right from wrong anymore. All right, let's see. What was yesterday? Oh yeah, the great Macintosh Performa 6360 caper. So of course, the great Muppet caper. And then tonight is Macintosh 6360 Treasure Island, which is Muppet Treasure Island. So if you are a Muppet fan, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Was which are the two? Let's see. Hold on. You have to give me, gosh. Yeah, that was one of the ones that Brian Henson directed. So if you guys haven't seen, if you are a Muppet fan and you have not seen Muppet Haunted Mansion, that came out, I don't think it was this year. I'm pretty sure it was last year, Muppet Haunted Mansion, where it's basically the Muppets kind of playing different versions of stuff from Disney's Haunted Mansion. Like Fozzie plays the Hatbox Ghost, and he has like human teeth. It's super disturbing. But the guy that directed that is Kirk Thatcher, who you might remember from Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. He's the punk on the bus, like that Spock does the little Vulcan grip on him and knocks him out. Yeah, because he's old school Henson guy. He was like involved with and also Lucasfilm guy too. So cool guy to follow. He's always doing some kind of cool project. Macintosh 360, they make their dreams come true. Is that a Laverne and Shirley reference? They make their dreams come true. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the 6360. I've wanted one for like a very long time. Mostly not because it's a great machine. I mean, it's a Quadra 630 with a bunch of stuff shoehorned into it. But I do like that it's like the fastest Performa in the desktop class that Apple ever produced. Plus, the case is nice because you can plug in a Quadra 630. You can plug, I mean, you feasibly should be able to plug in like a 5200 and 6200 and all those boards and have a backplane for testing and do stuff like that. Yeah, it's Muppet Babies. Oh, yeah, sorry, no. Oh, you're right. They make their dreams come true. I guess you're right. Big John says a friend of mine did a lot of work on the Muppet books that were published. That's cool. I absolutely love Muppets. I think they're great. If you I don't know that younger people have a connection to the Muppets that people my age have to them, just because it just kind of came out at like just the right time for me as a little kid, the Muppet movie and all that. Lazy Blue Goat says, it's so wild to me that Brian's directorial debut was Muppet Christmas Carol. Talk about coming up running. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Muppet Christmas Carol is pretty great. And then, because I think he did Christmas Carol and Treasure Island like within a year, like both of those productions. That was pretty crazy. So, but yeah, talk about some really good projects. So
I used to watch the Muppet Show on TV when I was a kid. That was before
the
other stuff.
Yeah, I didn't really get it. I didn't really get it as a kid. That like how, like, because I just thought, oh, they're the Muppets and they got it under control. But yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna tear it apart.
Foam. It sounds like foam.
These are actually Datanetics switches in here.
Oh wow.
This is sort of a secret. All these people don't tell anybody. The Apple II early keyboards use Datanetics keyboards, which are really hard to get, and the switches are even more impossible to get. But if you know where to find useless items like this, you can salvage the switches out of them and put them in the Apple II. And then you can just use lesser switches in this to restore this back to working, but not wasting those switches.
That's cool. That's a good tip there, man.
Yeah, I mean, each switch in here will sell for $10 on eBay, and I bought the whole thing for $25.
Yeah, it seems like that happens a lot.
And I'll just put ALP switches in it from like a rusted Apple IIe keyboard or something, and then it'll still work.
Sure.
And I won't feel bad about it. Yeah, the one thing I always remember from the Muppet Show is when they play the opening theme and they're all jumping around, and at the very end, the guy with the horn.
Yeah.
It was always something a different gag every show.
Yeah.
Is that Muppet's name? Okay. Like,
and
he'd look at it like, oh,
yeah.
Or like nothing would come out and he'd look in it.
Yeah. I just I don't know. I just that Muppet movie with like all the cameos and things like that. I mean, I mean, as a kid, you don't maybe get some of those things about like all the like the cameos and kind of how everybody like really because I watched something like as an adult and I hadn't been like in the Muppet universe in a while, and it was like everybody hated the Muppets. Like everybody hated them.
That's
And I was like the people in the movie, like just really actively just being jerks to the Muppets. And I was like, said, "Ah, I don't get it. Like, why is it like this?" And then I went back and I watched. A friend of mine was like, well, no, that's how it's always been. Like they're the whole thing of them is that they're like kind of downtrodden a little bit. And I was like, all right, because I
like
mean the only reason that Scooter is like the works there is because his uncle owns the theater. That's why everybody's nice to Scooter.
yeah. Well, it's like the tunes in Roger Rabbit. Like when they're walking around
Mhm.
L.A., everybody's like, "Get out of the way."
Yeah, the second class citizens. The book really makes that way more apparent.
Yeah, I read that book back in the late '80s. It was way darker.
Yeah, way darker than the movie. I do like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's cannot believe they did not make. I mean, I understand why they didn't make a sequel. Just because you've got Spielberg and you've got Disney and you've got like Warner Brothers and all like dozens of companies. Like you could never probably make that today. Everybody would be so upset of just like because I mean I guess the whole thing is like the Warner Brothers characters and Disney characters had to have equal screen time
Yeah,
and the same number of lines and all of that.
I
So
actually
nobody had the
worked.
upper hand.
I actually worked for Disney at the time that movie came out, and
Really,
I worked at Disneyland. I was a tech services guy, and
that's great.
um, we would go look in the shops. All the stuff would come out whenever whatever movie was coming out, and it was like, well, where's Bugs and Porky and stuff for
Hmm.
to go to the Roger Rabbit line, and like they just could not get the rights, even if they got
Yeah.
it from Warner,
Hmm.
they were
Yeah.
not allowed to sell it at the park. It was like,
Right.
okay,
It had to be the Disney stuff. Yeah. But I
just
don't
like
remember anybody other than Disney making merch for it. Like I remember there was like 16-inch and 24-inch Roger Rabbits and I mean all kinds of little plastic figures and things. But I mean
yeah.
I don't know that Warner Brothers like did anything with it.
Well, even the posters and stuff for the movie didn't have anybody's IP except Disney stuff, because
Yeah.
they only had
Mhm.
the rights for the animation in the film, and that was it.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I was glad they got to make it when Mel Blanc was still around, so we got all the
Right.
real voices.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I do love that movie. I have a idea that I would love to do if I can ever get a meeting with somebody at Disney to pitch a cool follow up series for Roger Rabbit. I mean, it would be something perfect for Disney Plus. I just
They
gotta
did
get.
make they made a Roger Rabbit ride at
Mhm.
Disneyland. That
Oh
was pretty cool.
gosh, it's basically it's like a
It's
what
like one of those dark
wild
rides.
mouse. It's a
Yeah,
wild mouse. Yeah,
yeah. You just go in and you spin around, and
yeah,
you have a wheel in the car, like you're
hmm,
in Benny the cab, and you can turn the wheel
yeah.
and the car spins. And so,
Hmm.
I don't know. It was amusing,
Toontown Spin or something. I think is actually what it's called. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah. But it's a wild mouse ride. It's kind of like Mr. Toad.
yeah. Yeah, there was a big uproar too when they were going to take that out. I remember. Oh, we're going
The
to take that
Roger
ride.
Rabbit ride or the
No,
or
the
Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad. It was one of the
I was gonna
original.
say I that would be tough to pull Mr. Toad.
Yeah, well, they actually pulled out like everything out of Fantasyland except for that.
Yeah.
Eventually, they redid all of it. But
I just
I,
remember being a little kid and being like scared shitless by the Snow White ride. And I still like to this day, I think that ride is like because there's oftentimes I'll have like a nightmare or something like that, and it'll be like dark water that you
yeah,
can't see, and like you're in there, and then there's something in the water that's trying to get you, and that's the stress dream. And
that
there's a section of that where there's like alligators and stuff that come like right up to your little car, and I think that's what what made
yeah.
me forever afraid.
I had a friend who was afraid of the Haunted Mansion, the part where there's like a witch or a ghost or something holding out this beating heart,
Yeah.
and it's all like he would freak out every time. Like,
Oh yeah. That's
like
the bride, I think is what they call that character
yeah, and
now.
I was
Because
just like,
yeah,
dude, it's not real. Calm down.
yeah. They've replaced that animatronic like a ton of times over the years too.
Yeah.
That bride animatronic. And
The
I don't
last time
know.
I went to Disneyland, I was not very thrilled, and that was probably 15 years ago. It's because
Mhm.
they've torn out everything that I really liked.
Yeah.
So
hmm
it's like, why?
Last time I was in California, where I actually had a couple of days to do stuff, went to Disneyland and did a opening day thing, and that's way tougher to do these days. To just visit attractions that were opening day attractions for Disneyland. So I mean, it's a
Not
short
much.
list. It gets shorter. It gets shorter every year.
Yeah. Well, the other
So
thing too is, 30 years ago, you could just go there and just show up, buy a ticket for $15 and go in.
mhm.
And there wasn't really any long lines on anything. Like I'm talking about like a weekday
Yeah.
in March or something.
hmm
And now it's like you have to make reservations and like they sell out
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah. hmm
Like, no thanks.
Yeah, it's tougher. We went. I've actually been to World, um, like 3 or 4 times, maybe, like across my whole life, and I've been to Land like twice. I would say I like Land, just because it's very condensed. You can do it all. It's a small park, and
Yeah.
then if you're just feeling it, I mean, you can go across there to California Adventure. I know that they've done a lot to try to improve that.
I've
Um,
only been to that before they tried to improve it. Like I went to it when it was new.
mhm.
Um, but Disneyland, I've been to hundreds of times.
Mhm.
And of course, I worked there, so I was there every day,
Yeah, I was
5
there
days a
every
week.
day.
But like when I was a teenager, when I was in my early 20s, we would just go there to hang out, and we all had
Mhm.
annual passes, so we could just go in and come out whenever
Yeah.
we wanted to.
Mhm.
And that was like, oh, that was like $150. Oh no. Now I think it's like $1,000 or something for an annual pass
Yeah.
now.
Mhm. It's pricey.
So, and they have blackout dates, which they didn't used to have.
Yeah.
So I really have no desire now to go, which is a shame because I spent a lot of time there having fun.
Yeah. I will tell you that California Adventure, since they put in more Pixar related stuff,
Uh-huh.
is much better. And there's part of the park that is because they used to have like a Bugs Land, which is now like Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but the back corner of the park is Cars Land, and if you go there at night, it looks like a little mock-up of Radiator Springs, and like it's all neon, and they have like the cars. They actually go down the street, kind of like they get people out of the way, of course. But they kind of drive like Lightning McQueen down the street and stuff. It's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
neat. And then when you get to the end of the town where like the fire station is, and you turn right, then that's where the Radiator Springs Racers, which is kind of it's like Test Track at Epcot,
Yeah.
only it's cars themed. So you're like out there in Monument Valley, like driving around and stuff, and it's really neat.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's way cool, and that's one of the few rides there that still has a single rider. So you
Oh,
could just race right up to the front and ride it a ton of times if you want,
that's cool.
as long as you don't mind like sitting next to like some pukey, teenager. It's like I've been chugging pizza all day and churros.
We were going to take the kids to California, I think, next summer, and I mentioned, "Hey, you want to go to Disney or whatever?" And they're like, one of them was like, "I don't care," and the other one said, "I want to go to Legoland." So,
Yeah, down the road.
yeah.
Just go down the road to Legoland. I would say if you were going to go to California, I would go to, if I could pick anywhere to go in California, I would go to San Francisco, just because there's a lot of neat stuff to just see there. Like you can go and it's a weird town because it's like you can take those they have like a microbus, like the VW microbus, and they just drive you around town and just show you everything.
Yeah.
and it's because they'll be like, oh yeah, like here's the house from Full House, or they'll be like, look at this giant like tower. There was a fire and a bunch of people died, and a lady like in the 1920s donated all this money so that there was a fire tower, so you could see out across the whole city if there was a fire, so they could more quickly. I mean, it's just like all the like kind of down there by the pier is also where, like, I can't remember what the name of the place is, but it's the inspiration for Theed on Naboo from yeah, because it's down the road from the Lucas campus.
Okay.
So it's just like this really neat place. I mean, it's in the room, and all you can go see all the locations from the room, and just drive around and eat good Chinese food, and just kind of explore. And
I spent a considerable amount of time in San Francisco. I didn't live that up there, but my mom actually lived there for several years, and my sister still lives there near the area. So I would go up there and visit, and I would never rent a car or anything. I'd just take BART or cabs or whatever. But the last time I went to California, I just took the little lady, and we went to I took her to Universal Studios, but we did the VIP thing.
Yeah.
So rather than riding the tram around or whatever, you get a golf cart and then you just do whatever you want.
Yeah, nice.
So I went over to Back to the Future Square and I was like reenacting Marty doing stuff, and she went over to like where they filmed Beverly Hills 90210 when they went to France.
Yeah.
And we spent like 2 hours walking around the chopped up 747 from the War of the Worlds that they have there still.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. There was like a docent who was like telling us what we could and couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And the tram would come by and he's like, oh, wave to the peasants, wave to the peasants. And all these people on the tram are like, how are you guys just walking around in there? How do we do that? Like,
get out your checkbook.
Yeah.
Get out your checkbook. You can do anything you want to do.
It was really cool. The docent would be like, hey, you guys want to go on any rides? And we're like, yeah, we want to go on this Harry Potter thing. And they would just walk us up to the front and they would be like to somebody. And they're like, okay, get on the ride. Like we just skip the whole line.
Yeah, just skip the line.
Totally worth it.
Lazy Blue Goat brings up something that I was going to bring up about going to San Francisco is Muir Park, the Muir Woods. That's a place that's tough to get in because you have to have an appointment to park and an appointment to get in the woods.
Is that where they park the Klingon ship?
It's kind of the inspiration. Well, it's where they film some of the indoor stuff. So, but it's way cool. It's way cool. The that's where they have all those banana slugs and everything like that. So like when you get in there, there's like a welcome center, and then you can kind of walk out in the woods, and it's all elevated walkways because they don't want you actually stepping out there. But it's so funny because that's the place that like Alex Jones, like his claim to fame was that he we went ahead and we exposed the Bilderbergs and all those other people. So anyway, stay tuned. Hour 2, we're gonna talk about we're gonna get some rhino horn penis pills in here, and
God, I hate that guy.
So I think everybody does. I don't even think he likes himself, but there's some. It's like the Bohemian Grove, which is like a bunch of rich weirdos dressed up as animal or like owls and things like that, and they would have like little ceremonies out there. And how it's like, we blew the lid off Bohemian Grove, and no, you didn't, because you literally, oh man, I got spammers. I know I've made it. I finally made it. Spammers.
Find your love. Alex Jones did a funny against a YouTuber recently where I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Hoovie's Garage. It's like this silly car review channel. Anyway, this guy just buys like junky cars, either fixes them, sells them, does silly things with them. It's just like a mildly entertaining channel, right?
Yeah.
Well, he bought a one of those new Ford electric trucks, and in an episode, he hooked a trailer up to it, and he was pulling like this 100-year-old Ford on the trailer on this brand new Ford truck. It was just supposed to be silly, but then he figured out pulling a trailer on an electric truck was a bad idea because you get like no range.
Sure.
And it was just like a one-off thing, like whatever. And anyway, somehow Alex Jones gloms onto this episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a YouTuber who all he does is he tests trailers, which is wrong. And
Right.
he's saying these electric cars are just garbage. And like goes on this rant, and it's completely totally wrong and has nothing to do with anything that actually happened.
Right.
So he makes this YouTuber guy have to like go and make another episode to say, okay, WTF, and like it was just, dude, pay attention. Did you get rid of the spammer?
Yeah, I think oh yeah, hold on. I blocked the user as well now too. So block the user and remove the comments and whatever else.
I don't see what they're trying to prove. I mean, it's not like it's hard to find that on the internet.
I don't know, but they want you to get theirs.
Yeah, well, theirs has the free viruses in it.
Well, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
Only one more partition to go after this one. I ain't gonna make anybody wait around. But I just wanted to kick that and get that going. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to reload my Plex thingamajiggy.
Nice.
Scan the files. I replaced 16 seasons of the one show, which is a lot more than I usually do in one go.
Sure.
I really do like having Plex, though. I can watch all this stuff from wherever I'm at, and I don't have to put up with like, oh, this is leaving Netflix or this is leaving Amazon. Like it's just, it's here forever.
I need to do a big transfer tonight, so I've got to set a download limit on this so it doesn't like choke my internet connection. I do a speed test. I don't even know how much internet I pay for.
I'm supposed to have 320, but I'm getting like 153 lately.
KIB. So what's 15 megabytes per second in KIB?
I don't know. 15 million?
I don't know. Interesting if true.
Yeah. And Chev Rudin is talking about the HD home run. I had tried that, but I actually still have a TiVo that lets me do that. Uses a cable card to tune in cable TV channels, and I can watch it on, obviously on the TV, but I can watch it on my phone. I don't hardly ever use that anymore, though. There's not a whole lot of point. The only live thing I would usually want to watch is news, and there's already dedicated apps for that. So.
Cool. Hey, it's 1 a.m. I say we call it.
All right. Sounds good.
I gotta be up. I got an appointment tomorrow morning at 7. So I gotta be up even earlier. So
I have to edit one document tomorrow. That's my entire day's work.
Oh, that's good. That's good work if you can get it. So hey everybody, thanks for stopping. Well, sorry, I better switch my view here real fast. Go back to the lobby. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by this evening. Especially thanks to Adam for being here like the whole time. And then also thanks to Exodium for stopping by as well. So everybody, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you get over to Adam's Apples on YouTube and subscribe. Adam probably will be doing some live streams one of these days again when he's got more time.
Yes.
Get these holidays out of the way.
After the 1st, I will probably do something. I still got to hook up the Lisa and see if it explodes.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited for that stream. So,
all right.
Cool. Everybody have a wonderful evening or morning or whatever it is. And we will talk to you soon. Bye. I got to click end broadcast. I'm